This is Mia from Mimo Design Laser Files, and I'm back to show you a awesome new material that I found called Hardboard. This is a game changer if you're making engraved earrings or just simple stuff like keychains or anything else. I even made a box for my own dog from it. The only downside on this material is the plain version of this material is called masonite or hardboard, and you can probably find it in your local hardware shop, like Lowe's or something like that. I get mine from Bricoman in Sicily. Besides the white, I have a few color options that I can find down here, but you might check out what you can find in your local area. What I did find the most on Amazon was this plain version, but this material, as you can hear, is super strong, and it's even though this is only 1/8 inch, it's very strong. I can literally don't push down. So I buy mine in big sheets, and my husband will cut them down to the sheet size that I use. That's not all I'm going to show you today. I'll also show you how to color fill earrings, because I recently made a tutorial on how to color fill, but that was on woods, and also I had a lot of requests on how to color fill earrings, because they obviously are a little smaller and the details are smaller as well. So I'll show you on plywood, which these are, and I'll show you on this new material. And just to show this new material, I actually could have cut them in other colors as well. The only downside, as said, is the back, because the back isn't really pretty. I already painted these, but this is how the back will look like once it's cut. But there's an easy fix for this called spray paint, or just painting with acrylic paint. So I'll show you that as well. Also, this material is great for scoring and color filling, obviously. So I'll move these additional pieces aside, and I'll show you how to color fill these earrings. So this design is a new design that I made just for the sake of this tutorial, and you can actually grab this design for free. It comes with 3 options of earrings, actually 4, because it comes with these hanging studs, it comes with hangers, and it comes with simple studs in both a scored and a engraved version. So if you're watching now, go ahead and find the link in the description and download these files as soon as you can. Also, I'm working on a tutorial because a lot of people have asked me how to design their own in LightBurn. These are drawn from scratch by only using circles, actually. So I'll make an additional video on how to create stuff like this and draw from scratch in LightBurn. So if you'd like to see that, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. With that aside, I'll just zoom in a little so you can see these earrings a little clear. These are wood. It's 4mm poplar plywood, which is the only thing I can get in Sicily. And what I did, and what is a little time consuming when you're working with woods, is that I had to sand down everything first. After sanding, I had to treat it because I want to color fill it. So the easiest way, in my opinion, to color fill stuff like this is to seal it with clear acrylic spray paint or varnish or whatever you have available. This is glossy spray paint, and it's actually what I find that works the best if you want to color fill. Because the smoother the surface is, the easier you can wipe your color filling off. There's also a possibility, I lost the other earring, sorry, but you can stain it, and if you push down your stain, it will automatically darken your engravings. So that's an option as well. Last but not least, you can take acrylic paint or acrylic paint marker and push down into your engravings. These look like a mess now, but I'll show you how to make this work. Last but not least, I'll just move these gold earrings away because I don't need those yet. Last but not least, you have this new material, and this is so easy. Once you've cut this, you just take a wet cloth and you can wipe off all the residue while it is in the laser. As said, the back is not that pretty. Let me just find one that I didn't paint yet. So you can see that this is the back after cutting, but it's easy just to place them on a piece of painter's tape or something else that's sticky and spray paint the back. Also, after you color filled, I color filled these with gold acrylic paint, you can paint the back as well. So for these I'll still have a little mess on the edges from the paint. The spray paint methods, you can take the edges as well, so this might be the easiest solution. But to color fill these, it's so easy. You take a acrylic paint of some sort, and you'll just place a drop, and you really don't need much. So I'll see if I can just apply a little. Now that I have my paint, you then take a small paintbrush like this, and you grab your earring, you take the paint, and you just make sure that you push it really hard down the engraving. And you can color fill with any color. I'll just do this one black, and I'll again show you the other one because I actually filled that with gold acrylic paint. But once you feel like you have this paint stuck everywhere, you take a wet wipe of some sort. You could either use baby wipes, or you could just use a wet cloth. And once you have your wipe, you can just wipe off the surface. So this doesn't get any easier in my opinion. I'll actually just grab a piece of dry towel and I can take off some of the wet from the wet wipes. So if you have some smaller things, you can just again go in with the wipe. I actually think I prefer a wet cloth for these because I don't know, my wet wipes are very wet. but it's now color filled. I have a little stuck here. Like that. So you could see the difference on these two. For the gold, I used the same method and I added the gold acrylic paint I had. It's the same that I used for these. And instead of brushing over everything, this was natural plywood. I only sanded this. I didn't treat it with acrylic or anything like that. These were natural as well, and I just wiped off the excess paint as I just showed you. So I could go ahead and show you on these as well, because this was sealed with clear acrylic, and you actually color fill this the exact same way as I just did on the other pair. But I had to sand these first to get off all my residue. Then I had to add the clear coat of acrylic. For the other ones, I just cut and engraved them, wiped off the residue while it was sitting in my laser, and I was ready to go. So no sanding or no treatment afterwards on the hardboard material. But you can do this on plywood as well. It just takes a little longer. So again, I'm using a wet wipe. And I'll just wipe off this excess. Like that. So now that I color filled these, and you could see the difference here, it's just a matter of painting. But this hardboard is extremely easy to work with, and hopefully you'll be able to find it. I'll drop a link below for the plain version that I found on Amazon. I actually found it in white as well. Also, I found a bunch of clipboards that is made from the material and is wood structure, but they are a little expensive compared to the sheets that I use. I'll link those as well. So even though the page is Italian, you might be able to get it shipped or find it elsewhere. But I'll drop the links below that I found so far, and then I'll just go ahead and paint these and finish off and show you the finished results. I do want to show you again that these are the hardboard. These are not color filled yet, but these are the hardboard. This is engraved, this is scored. For the earrings in wood, this is engraved and treated with clear acrylic. This is raw wood and scored. So I don't know what you like best, but I actually think that these will be better to color, especially if you want the flowers to be white, because then you can leave the white and paint around it, and I'll do that for one of these pairs. So I'll get started painting, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. As said, be sure to swing by allstarsdesign.com and grab the free file, and I guess I'll see you soon. I'm done color filling my earrings, at least these two pairs, just to show you the difference. So these are the wooden earrings color filled with black paint, acrylic paint. These are the hardboard, and I really love this material, hands down. And I gave the back for these gold spray paint. These are wooden earrings that I filled with gold paint. This one was acrylic paint, this was acrylic paint marker. And these are the hardboard versions that I filled with gold. So I'll just show you how to make these look better, because I want to enhance the gold in these. So an easy way to do that, and I'll just use my black, is to use a foam brush and make sure that you have paint in it but not on it. So you want to dab most of it off, and then you'll just carefully wipe over. And since I will be painting the inner parts of these, I'm mainly focusing on getting paint on the edges. But you might see the effect if I were to color fill or cover the whole earring with this paint. So I'm just very carefully wiping over so I don't get the black paint stuck inside the engraving. I only want it to be on the outer part. So this is another way of color filling your earrings or other projects without using acrylic paints. Because I said these were just painted and I pushed down my paint directly into the untreated plywood. And this is what I'll do to make the color on the inlay pop up. So you can now see that it's gold. As said, I'll be painting the inner flower. So I just want this to go to the edges. This one with the acrylic marker was obviously a little darker, so you aren't able to see the color filling as well. So when you pick colors for color filling, it's important that you use colors that will enhance the engraving and not kind of make it go away. For these I can just paint them as is, because I already wiped off, and I don't have to paint my flower. Sorry, it's this one. I don't have to paint my flower white because I already used white. So to paint this hardboard, you either have to use acrylic paint pens. I have them in a ton of colors. But I actually found that Sharpies, just regular Sharpies, work just as well on this hardboard. You just have to make sure that you are using a permanent marker. So I'll take a black and then I'll just see if I can go around the edge without going inside the engraving or coloring my leaf. So carefully go over this edge, and I'll then grab a yellow Sharpie to add to the inner part. So these Sharpies don't go away when you're using hardboard. If I went ahead and used Sharpies on my wood, I can grab this piece, you might see how it will bleed. So I'll just make one dot. But if you're using the scored version like this, using Sharpies are pretty neat too, because you have the scored lines that will stop the paint or Sharpies from bleeding into the wood grains. So you could definitely use Sharpies on wood as well, and you could do that on the engraved version as well. But this hardboard, because it is so, I don't know what you call that, shiny on the surface, acrylic paint isn't the best solution for it. Actually, I made a couple of keychains that I color filled with gold, and I used a Sharpie to go over everything else, and then I took a wipe and wiped it off just a little, and it gets this shiny, I don't know if you can see it, shiny reflective color, and I actually like that. So that's another thing you could do. I'll go ahead and use a regular paint pen for these. So I'm thinking I might add some color to it. So let's make these purple. And you might see that it is easy to color in all the details, but once this is dry, you might be able to scratch it off. So I do recommend that you seal it with clear acrylic or something like that afterwards, so you are totally sure that it doesn't go anywhere. These acrylic paint pens are from Amazon, and they are really cheap. I think they are around $20 or so for a set of 72 colors. There's only 36 pens, but that's because it has a color in both ends. And I love using these. They cover up so nice. So I'll actually drop the link for these as well down below. Let's take the other color. And when you're painting this, it is easier to have it flat on your table. But to make you be able to see it, I'll just lift them up a bit. Luckily my hands aren't shaking that much this morning because I already had my coffee. So I only need a yellow for the flower. The inner of the flower. I'll go with this one. Like that. So that's one earring down. And I'm not going to paint the whole set because I just want to show you the different possibilities in color filling and painting, and then you can do it on your own. I actually think I'll go ahead and use the same colors for this one. This time I'll lay it flat on my table, that way it goes a little faster. So if I can grab this, that's the hardboard, that's the plywood. And if you don't like these little dot things, you could give it another coat. So let's see if there's anything. Yes, I wanted to paint this as well, this area, and that was my gold version that I pushed my paint straight down to. I need to lift this because I can't really see it. So you might see that my gold isn't as nice as the black. So I actually don't think if I want to finish these, but you could see the method that I did on these, and you could then color them in with other colors and use a color to wipe over so you don't mess up the engraving. I'll just paint these a little quick. It actually turned out a little cuter than I thought, so I'll actually go ahead and show you how you could enhance this and show you a new effect. I just have this to dry just a little, and then I'll take a paintbrush and make this kind of washed effect, because I actually think this could work anyway. So that's the great part about doing tutorials, because you can always learn from my mistakes and do it better, or you could learn new techniques as I do while I'm making the tutorials. So let's see if there's anything that I left out. Yes, you could use alcohol ink markers as well. So I have this box with dual tip markers, and I said I'll try and see if I can get some links down on everything I'm using. So I'll see if I can find I don't think I have a lot of lighter. Yeah, I have a lighter purple there and a lighter pink, just to keep them somewhat in the same color. And acrylic markers are especially great for woods, because if it's scored, it doesn't bleed outside the edges either. So I'll show you what I mean. And these comes with a fine tip like this and a wider tip like that. For earrings, I do recommend the fine tip. If this would stop doing this. Again, all my paint pens are pretty cheap. They work and I'm totally happy about them, but they do fall apart and stuff like that sometimes. But as you see, these are really easy to paint with as well, because when I'm putting in my color, it will kind of bleed out to the scored lines, but it will not run over it. So that's the alcohol ink markers on wood. I'll just take the hardboard to show you the difference, and I'll speed up the video just a tiny bit. So you might see that there's a significant difference on the hardboard and the wood, because on the woods the alcohol ink markers soak down into the engraving. On the hardboard it kind of lays on top. I don't want to smudge this because I am afraid. I'll try just for your sake. Oh, and it doesn't. I was afraid that it would come off, but it doesn't. So alcohol ink markers are definitely great for the hardboard as well, and it is for wood. But if you're doing it on woods, I would suggest that you also seal this, but definitely if you're doing it on woods, you have to seal it, because otherwise the colors will fade in time and you don't want that. So a last thing that you could use for painting is watercolor. I'm not going to do that now because I think I covered most of what I wanted to show you today. I might just take this last pair of scored earrings and finish up with my Sharpie pens, sorry. So I can show you the difference on those. But then I think I'm done, and if you want to see more results, oh, I have to show you this. You could drop comments below, and I'll see if I can make a new video that is specific to whatever you'd like me to show you. But as far as Sharpies goes, you do see that these are great for painting and earrings with as well. And Sharpies are very inexpensive, but I still probably would suggest that you seal your wood afterwards. So if you're making earrings with scored lines, Sharpies or acrylic paint markers or even watercolor, I have a bunch of tutorials on watercolor for bigger projects. They are awesome to use for that purpose. So let's just see the difference. It's almost clear on this white hardboard. So again, the colors will vary a bunch depending on what material you're using, and it's really a matter of taste, what you prefer. But I really think that this hardboard or Masonite is so easy to work with, and you just want to find the pens or paint that is suited for this purpose. So it's really just a matter of trying your ways and finding out what works the best for you. So that's the Sharpie pens. This one is the hardboard and this one is the plywood. And you could see how this will leave a kind of metallic effect where it bleeds more into the grains on plywood. So last but not least, I just wanted to show you this little additional technique. So to elevate this, I'm actually going to use the same gold colored acrylic, which is this one, that I used for color filling the engraving. But instead of color filling the engraving, because the engraving took away some of the gold effects because it's darker, so this will be more golden if you place it on top. So what I want to do is that I take a old, kind of worn out brush, and I'll just dab it around my paper until I can see that most of my paint is gone. It is now. And I'll just do the same on the earrings. And you could do this with white or a lighter color as well, and it will leave it with this kind of washed effect. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's pretty up close. So for the back of, I also mentioned that you could just wipe over with some acrylic paint, or you could spray paint the back. This is the wood, but I could do the same to show the difference. If I can find one of the earrings that I didn't, this one was natural. So again, I'm just wiping over with the gold acrylic paint, and you could paint these by a gold marker as well, if that's what you want. Just grab one, or I could do silver on this one so you could see the difference. So it's pretty easy to paint the back. I also paint the back with Sharpies, and I've painted it with chalk paint, and there's a bunch of ways that you could hide this kind of dull and ugly hardboard color. So I hope you learned a little bit of everything in this video. If you want to learn more, please subscribe to my channel and write down all the comments that you have with questions or requests on new tutorials, and I'll see if I can make it happen. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.